I am tremendously honored to be here. Like Deb, I feel that perhaps I shouldn't belong here, but I wasn't in charge of the nominations and the vote, so I feel very fortunate and tremendously honored to be here tonight. My comments really are directed to the students in particular, because anyone in high school and pre-high school wonders how you get started, and these comments are directed to those students who ask that question. One of the great things about business, and especially starting a business, is that you quickly find out if anyone out there wants to buy your new gizmo or your new product or your new service. You almost can't know until you put out a for sale sign. Until then, it's just speculation. And before you get that far, you are told that for every startup success, there are 10 failures, which is true. One of the things I've noticed in my own set of experiences is that almost everyone older than you are will tell you that you're crazy to start a business. In truth, they are just trying to protect you. They're often your parents, but just old people in general think it's a bad idea to start anything. And they're just trying to protect you. When Phil, Lindy, and I started Recycled Paper Greetings in 1971, my father, who was a Wharton graduate, counseled me nicely but firmly that business school was a much wiser choice. That the greeting card industry was full of sharks and it was no place for 3 nice new college graduates. Better to go to business school than to be shark bait. And in terms of logic, he was correct. Business school was the closest thing to a slam dunk at that time, and starting a business was a 1 in 10 proposition. We started it nevertheless. We ignored the old guy. Similarly, with Bannon Dunes Golf Resort, everyone I knew, this was even more negative, even more skeptical than the greeting card company, everyone I knew, without exception, said it was harebrained to build a golf resort 5 hours from the medium-sized city of Portland. That would be like driving, they said, to St. Louis to play golf, and no one would do that. It was a harebrained idea. Use of the word harebrained, for you students who don't know the word, is not a complimentary term. Since harebrained means having a brain the size of a hare or a rabbit, a small creature with a very small brain. So when someone says that's a harebrained idea, they really mean only a person with the brain the size of a rabbit could have conceived of a plan so foolish. A nicer way to say you have a very small brain is to suggest an expensive market study that would prove conclusively that building a golf course 5 hours from a medium-sized city is truly a harebrained idea. In order to save the cost of a market study, I called my friend Steve Lesnick, who was and is one of the great golf course industry experts, and invited him to come out to Bannon, which hadn't been developed yet. It was just my idea. If I could tell him my idea and if he would spend a couple days on site, which he did. And I went into great length why people would drive 5 hours from Portland to come to this place, and he listened and very patiently walked the site, and then at the momentous conclusive time, stopped and very dramatically looked at me and said, "If you think that anyone is going to come here to play golf, you're out of your friggin' mind." You notice he didn't say it was harebrained. My point to these students is that if you want to start a new company, virtually no one is going to tell you, "Oh, what a good idea." All they will see is risk, and all they want to do is protect you. So if you want to start a company, expect to be lonely and alone until it's clear that it's working. And then your family and friends will say, "What a great idea. We are so proud of you." And a few of them will say, "We knew that was a winner all the way." One other thing about starting a company or a business, sometimes it's not obvious how long it will take to judge yourself a success or a failure, and that's important. Obviously, the sooner you break even, the better. But it just may not be a matter of years. It could be, it could be a matter of years. It could be a matter of many years. You won't necessarily know in a week or a month or a half a year. Sometimes it's a long timeline till you get there. When Lindy and Phil and I started the greeting card company, it actually took 5 years for us to get the product right. We broke even for the first 5 years, but it was a long haul until we finally got it right with Sandra Boynton, as you saw, and sales exploded. But 5 years is a long time. As for the golf course 5 hours from Portland, which is certainly was then and is now a remote place, it was an immediate smash hit. No one, including me, had any idea that it would succeed as it did, and it only took a couple of weeks to find out. So my message is, when you start something, you can't be impatient, or unusually impatient. It could be quick, and it could be a long time until you know whether it works or not. You just never know. So here's what I say. You have to be passionate about your product or service, and then you have to be willing to be all alone while you find success or failure. Starting an enterprise is all about taking a risk with your money, your time, and most of all, your life. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, two giant entrepreneurs, each took a big, big risk with their lives and succeeded in a very, very major way, in a way that most of us will never know. In the process, they created growth opportunities for tens of millions of people around the world. Just amazing what those two giants could do. The world needs more creators, more job creators. The world needs more entrepreneurs, and we hope many of you young people will learn from the JA and become those job creators. Thank you very much.
Mike Kaiser, Deb DeHaas, Roy Carlson, really, I can't tell you, it is, what you join 155 others just like you. Clearly, Chicago is an incubator of some of the greatest minds, so let's give them all a round of applause one more time. So as we wrap up tonight, clearly we want to celebrate all these leaders that have left an indelible mark on the history of our city and have clearly changed it for the better. We have also had the chance to look at those leaders through the eyes of our future, today's students, and the three that came here this evening to share their stories of their aspirations to become just like you. We have to wish them well in their effort. I'd also like to thank our student ambassadors from Hester Junior High School in Franklin Park. Aren't they great? Let's give them a round of applause. Young entrepreneurs as well. Earlier, the students were presenting new product and business ideas to our guests, all of you. Very inspiring to see how many amazing entrepreneurs we can actually expect to see doing great things in the future. The Hester students, by the way, have been a part of this event for over 10 years. Now, the students on stage tonight, I'd like to add, and those we have met throughout the evening, are perfect examples of how bright our future is. How we must continue the mission to educate our students about the opportunities in our free enterprise. Just look where our youth can go and what they can achieve if we give them the tools to succeed. And by all of your stories, clearly they're going to be getting the inspiration. I hope we all feel empowered to make a difference in the lives of our youth. By being here tonight, you are helping build their future, and clearly that is known. Your support of this event shows that you believe in the power of education and the power of junior achievement. So we do definitely want to give another round of applause for our laureates, our inductees, and the student presenters tonight. The laureates and their families, of course, and other major event sponsors are also what make this such a special evening. Telephone and data systems, Deloitte, Bandon Dunes and Golf Resort, Molex, Illinois Toolworks, and JP Morgan Chase. We would also like to thank our platinum, gold, and silver sponsors, as well as our individual ticket holders. You can see all listed in this evening's program, so if you would like to peruse that, that would be very special, and to thank them for all their efforts in making this evening such a success. And finally, a very special thanks to each of you, our supporters, for being here this evening. You are what make this event so great. Sandy brings you all together. We know you support her. We know you support JA, and we know you support the young entrepreneurs of the future just by you being here and showing them the way through example. You can personally meet our laureates, by the way, and their families at the dessert reception, which is next, and obviously a very special part of the evening as you can mingle and meet the students and their families there. It's in the Wrigley Gallery immediately following the program. So just a special thank you again to all of you. I think if there's one thing that you noticed in all the laureates this evening, was their passion for what they do. They never gave up, their inspiration and their help for others, and their true, genuine concern for the young JA students that will rise to be the future leaders of this city. So thank all of you. Have a wonderful evening. Congratulations again to Mr. Kaiser, Mr. Hotz, and Mr. Carlson. And let's just make Chicago one great city by all participating to make sure it is great. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.